different in this live stream. I've decided to do a story time live stream. Um, just because I be so stressed editing and I'm trying to push out as much content as I can in a small amount of time as I can. So live stream for story time it is, okay? We're giving fall. Do you feel it? No? How about now? No? How about now? No? Okay. So this story time is going to be, if you saw the title, how I almost got kidnapped by a sugar daddy. It definitely wasn't a sugar daddy. Um, it's giving Dollar Tree Splenda, to be very honest with you. So let me give you guys a little background story because we want to make this. I want to make this live stream a little lengthy. Okay, so we're gonna give you guys a background story. So growing up, I was super like closed in. I wasn't really allowed to go anywhere or do anything without all types of supervision. Hold on, guys. Are you alright? I'm alright. Ooh, guys, I forgot where I was. So I wasn't allowed to do anything without all types of. I'm so congested, guys. I'm so sorry. Without all types of supervision, right? So when I turned 18 is when I started running the streets. Okay, I was in the streets. Well, I tried to be. I wasn't good at it because I was trying to live my life and go to church. Child, it was a mess. So I was in these streets, okay, and I wanted to be grown. Even though I technically was, I wasn't. Trust me, I was not. Even though I tried to be, I wasn't, but I tried to be. Okay, keep that in mind. So back in this time, I had a best friend. We're gonna call her Becky. Me and Becky were like peanut butter jelly. You didn't see me without Becky. You didn't see Becky without me. We were best friends. Everyone that knew us knew it. Everyone that knew us knew it that we were peanut butter and jelly, right? So she used to go to church with me and all types, right? So we were best friends, never seen us apart. And when I say best friends, I mean best friends. We did everything together, like everything together, right? Child, we'll get into Becky in a whole nother story time. But just keep in mind that we were best friends. We spent a lot of time together, okay? So me and Becky would hang out every single day. There was like not a day of the week that me and Becky, if we had a chance to hang out, that we didn't take it, okay? We was hanging out all of the time, okay? So this particular time, we were hanging out, and I remember what I was wearing. Child, I was wearing it was like a bathing suit, like top situation, and some shorts. It was like a one piece bathing suit with like some shorts, some coochie cutter shorts. Okay, who told me this was okay? No one. I guarantee you, no one told me it was okay. I I don't even. Anyways, so that's what I was wearing. And we were hanging out as usual. We didn't have money as usual, so we used to always finesse like getting transportation. We used to finesse, getting rides from people. Like it was crazy. Like we did not want to be on the bus for nothing. Like I was not trying to be on the bus for nothing. I didn't dress in this bathing suit, one piece and shorts for nothing. We're not getting on this bus, right? It's ridiculous, ridiculous, right? So, anyways, so we're hanging out, and I remember we were on 120th and Vermont. If you're from South Central, holla at me. Okay, we was on 120th and Vermont in front of Ralph's. If you guys don't know what Ralph's is, it's kind of like Kroger, Myers, Smith's, Food for Less. I believe they're all just and fries. I believe one is called Fries somewhere. Did I say Smith's? It's Smith's. So it's all like the same company, different name. Don't ask me. I don't know. I used to work for Smith's, so I remember always seeing like all okay, this doesn't have any noodle story. Anyway, so we're hanging out in front of Ralph's on 120th, and I remember specifically I didn't have no money. Okay, and this is around the time where payphones were like kind of disintegrating, but not really. Like you could still run into a payphone and use it at this time, but they were like slowly like disintegrating because I'm child. I don't know what payphone work anymore. Okay, so we're hanging out, and she's like, "I'm gonna make a phone call." Right. So in my mind, I'm like, she gonna get us a ride because I'm not trying to walk. And mind you, Ralph's was on 120th of Vermont. She lived like in the 90s. Okay, so I wasn't trying to walk 30 blocks. Even though blocks in LA are not like blocks in other places, like walking a block in LA is literally like 35 seconds. Like everything is so clustered together. Like you can walk from like 90th to 98th in like 10 minutes, right? So everything is just clustered up or whatever. But I still wasn't trying to walk. Because in my mind, I was like, oh my God, we're gonna have to walk past Normandy and we're gonna have to walk past Century, and like my mind broke that up ridiculously. We could have easily walked, but the way my mind broke that up, I was like, "There's no way I'm walking down Century in this outfit." And I feel like if I felt like that, why did I wear it? But anyways, so we're standing there, whatever. I see the bus, and in my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, we probably just hop the bus." Because I'm gonna tell you guys something. So back in high school. Well, I tell you, we was finessing the system, okay, up until like we got out of high school. So I remember we had school IDs, right? Like they were like little paper, like school ID passes you can get from school, and they'll give you the sticker at school, and you can ride the bus like the whole month, right? So I remember like our school stopped doing it, but somehow she would like have a friend or somebody that would buy the stickers, and we would photocopy them. We would go photocopy them, print them out in color, and like tape them so it looks like it's laminated, and tape them to our like school passes, and we would use that to get off the bus. Child, felony, felony charges. Like we used that, and we was doing that. We did that for maybe like 2.5 years after we graduated high school. Child, how we did that for 2.5 years after we graduated high school, and then I remember I went to go enroll at Trade Tech because Trade Tech had a program, like a tap card program, like when tap cards first started coming. Yeah, I'm revealing my age. When tap cards first came out, like they had like a little program at LACC where you would get a tap card for 6 months. Child, you could ride the bus wherever you want. The world was your oyster for 6 months. I've done that too. Finessing public transportation was a thing to do. Okay, I wasn't trying to be on a bus. Don't get mad at me. I wasn't trying to be on a bus. Ooh, I hate buses. I've always hated them. So that's what we did for like a long time. And oh my God, and we had ended up getting caught, but I'm probably gonna make a story time about that 'cause it's freaking hilarious. But anyways, so at that time we had already got caught, so we didn't have our little finessed bus passes at the time. So I'm just standing there, I'm like, oh my God, like there has to be a way to like get on this bus. So there used to be the rapid. In my mind, I'm like, dang, if we jump in the back, because so many people enter in the front. Like I feel like if we jump in the back, like nobody will see us. But I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they would have seen like these two little black girls just walking up in the back of the bus, right? Because the bus was empty. So I'm sorry, y'all. My nose is just not giving. So, anyways, we're standing there, and then eventually she turns to me and she's like, "Okay, I got us a ride." And I'm thinking, okay, maybe she called like her grandmother because her grandmother had a whip. Her daddy had a whip, like her mama had a whip. So I'm thinking, okay, she called like, some immediate family, whatever. So we're standing there, we're waiting, we're chopping it up, we're turning people down. Like they're like, hey, what's up? We like, no, you don't have a car, don't talk to us. We just like, you don't have a car, don't speak to don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Okay, so we're standing there. All of a sudden, this little green car pulls up, and she's like, "That's our ride." And I'm looking. I could see, the passenger. Well, the driver. I could see the driver, and I'm like, "Who's this?" Literally ventriloquist mode. I was just like, "Who's this?" And she's like, "Oh, this is my friend. We're gonna call him Sergio." She's like, "Oh, this is my friend Sergio." it. I'm looking at Becky like, and she's like, he's fine, he's safe, like he's good, like he's good people. So in my mind, I'm like, I just want to go home. So whatever. So I'm heading to the back seat because in my mind, I'm like, if I gotta jump up out this vehicle, I'm gonna jump out from the back seat. I'm gonna tuck and roll, and I don't know what's gonna happen to Becky. One for one, and all for one. Like I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen to Becky. Like this is my plan. Like I got my mother to get home to. I don't know if y'all understand. I got my mother to get home to, and I got church. Okay, we got a bake sale on Saturday. I gotta make it to the bake sale. So I'm heading to the back seat, and then she's like, "Oh, wait, let me introduce you, right?" Because I'm rude. I was about to just get in the back seat and just cross my arm, like, "Take me home." The ghetto. Okay, so he's all like, "Oh, okay. What's your friend's name?" And of course, we wasn't really dropping the government names in this time because we knew better. You're not searching me. For some reason, I'm very searchable and I've always been very searchable and I don't understand that. Like why am I so searchable? Like I've always been searchable. Searchable to the point where you can get my address, my guy. Like no. So we always had like fake names, whatever. So she goes, my fake name, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And then he was like, no, so she started getting in the front seat, right? And I'm opening the door for the back seat. He's like, no, no, no. I want you to sit up here with me. And I'm looking like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I'm looking like this can't be. This can't be. Like this. So then in my mind, I'm like, okay, but I need to get home. So I don't live far from here. If anything, could drop me off where Becky's gonna be, and I'll walk. It's about 10 blocks away. I'll walk it. You know what I mean? So I was like, fine, whatever. I'm looking at her through the rearview mirror. She's looking at me, and I'm just like, okay. So we're chopping it, we're talking. He actually wasn't like a weird person for some weird reason. Like I didn't get any weird vibes from him. He was just regular degular, right? He was just like, oh, I got some daughters, yeah, age and all this stuff. Like I just like to help young women. Like he kept saying that. He was like, I like to help young women, and like I feel like you guys are worthy of so much more, and this and that and that. And then he was like, you're really beautiful. He just kept saying that, and I was just like, oh, you know. Yeah, whatever. So he gets out. He's like, I need to get gas, right? So he gets out, gets gas. I'm looking dead in the Becky eyes, and I'm just like, and she's like, he's good people, and like, I bet you, like, he's gonna pay us for like hanging out with him. Like, he's cool. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Right? It'd be in desperation of not wanting to be on public transportation or walk, child. I was like, okay. Mama, if you watching this, I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to make you cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet. Child. So he gets back in the car and he's all like, are you guys hungry? And of course, Roly Poly back here was all like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, we haven't ate or whatever, whatever. And I was just like, yeah, I guess I can eat whatever. So he takes us to a drive through, we're eating, we're chopping it up. Like, I didn't get any weird vibes from him. You just never know, right? So I didn't get any weird vibes. We're chopping it up, we're talking whatever, whatever. So then he's all like, like, do you guys want to go home? Do you guys want to hang out? Like, what do you guys want to do? And I was like, it's cool. Like, I'm cool going home or whatever. So he's getting ready to drop us off. And I told him, you could just drop me off, at Becky's house. Like, I can just walk from Becky's house, whatever. So he like pulls up kind of close and he's all like, how about I take you guys driving? Like, do you guys know how to drive? You know what I mean? And I was just like, no. And then he's like, oh, well, let me teach you guys how to drive. And then he looks at me, he's like, yeah, because I want to give you this car. And I was just like, and he's like, yeah, you can't be like driving around and putting other men in the car and this and that. Cause like, I know everybody around here. Everybody knows me. Like he started like doing all this LA stuff. You from LA, you know how LA people are. Everybody know me and everybody know me and they always do that. Shut up. Nobody know you but your mother, okay? So I was like, oh, you could just drop us off. And Becky back here was all like, "No, no, let's go drive. Like it'll be fine. Like we don't have nothing to do." And I'm looking like, whatever. So here's my issue with Becky though. Just a little sidetrack. Becky had no hands. Becky was born with no hands. So the fact that she was always putting me in these situations where it was like, oh my God, not me having to beat up an old man today. I'm not trying to beat up an old man today. I just that's why we're not cool now. Okay, anyways. Oh, and let me tell you guys like what Sergio looked like. So Sergio was like older black man. I want to say he was maybe like sorry. I want to say that he was maybe like sorry my cat attacked me. I want to say that maybe he was like 50 to 55 and he was like 50 to 55. And if he was younger than 55, then I would say like 48 or 49. But he was around that area. He was like an older guy, but he didn't look like that old. But you could tell when he talked like he was old, you know what I mean? And he was kind of short. He's like maybe like 5'9". And like I said, he said he had daughters that was like around our age. And I think at that time he was maybe like 19 going on 20 or 18 going on we had to be like 18 going on 19 because we were hella young. Like we were children out here while I got a bathing suit top on and shorts. Okay. I had to be a child with this type of fashion sense. Okay. So we're just in the car and he starts driving and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take you guys over here so you guys can learn how to drive. But like I don't want to put you guys on like the regular road or whatever. So Roly Poly back here was all like, yeah, okay, cool. So we're driving and driving, chow and driving and driving. And I started like I think I just like spaced out. I don't know if you guys ever been in a situation where you're kind of just like trying to think of all the scenarios that you kind of just space out. That's where I was at that moment. I kind of literally, I like low key like spaced out and I was thinking of all my escape routes. But back then I didn't have anxiety like I do now. And this is the reason why I have anxiety now, okay? Because of situations like this. But I didn't have anxiety then and I thought very like ethical. I was just like, okay, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I got these hands. I know how to fight. Like if I gotta stab somebody between the eyes, I'll stab somebody between the eyes. Like I was just like, I'm not gonna stress about the situation. She said she's known him. Mind you, she said she knew him like for a minute or whatever. So I was like, okay, this is not a stranger. She knows him, like whatever. So we're driving and driving, you guys. We end up off of Pacific Coast Highway. Look, if you're not from LA, let's do the math, okay? Imma get the math. I'm gonna get the mathing for you so you can understand why at that moment I think is where my anxiety began. That is the start of my anxiety, okay? And panic attacks. So PCH, first of all, if you ever been to Pacific Coast Highway, there's nothing there. Like all you see is like semi trucks and fucking nothingness. Like there's nothing. Literally, my cat is running amongst right now, but there's literally nothing on Pacific Coast Highway. Make it make sense, right? So let's see. So they call it PCH. Okay. Oh, a little. Okay. Ugh. And I don't know if you guys ever like drove through Pacific Coast Highway, but like it's a crazy road. I remember when I had to go to LA when my dad got sick and we were driving on Pacific Coast Highway, I was just like, child. And we went all the way to Mission Viejo. So yeah, it's not really yeah. Why the hell would you take somebody on Pacific Coast Highway to teach them how to drive? Okay, but let's do it. So at that time I lived on 82nd and Fifth, South Central. Okay. What's wrong with me? Anyways, so if you can see here, you can. What I thought. If you can see here, it's about an hour. Okay, maybe I gotta turn off my brightness all the way so y'all can really get the gist. Okay. So like I said, at that time I stayed on 82nd and Fig. And we were, I don't know if you guys can see, but an hour and 4 minutes away from my home. So, yeah, we were driving for quite a while. Okay. So, we're driving. He pulls up like to this random area. I just remember it being like semi trucks parked, like they weren't driving, they were just like parked on the side of the road. And he was just like, "Oh, do you want to drive?" Right? He looks at me, he's like, "Do you want to drive?" I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Not at all." Like at that point, my guard was all the way up, and I was ready. I was just like, "No, I don't want to drive." Right? And he looks at her really politely. He's like, "Yo, you want to drive?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So I get out of the passenger side, and I'm sitting in the back seat. And in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna grab him from the back." In my mind, my mind was already like, okay, I'm gonna have to handle this old somebody's great grandfather is about to get it today. Like in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna grab him from the back, I'm gonna get his neck, I'm gonna crack it, and she was gonna feel yo crazy, crazy these situations, right? So she gets in the driver's seat, and okay, he's all like, "Okay, press the gas, press the brake, da 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 da." We almost run it. First of all, we almost run into a semi truck. Thank you for all the church mothers who were praying for me because the only way I made it. Well, I tell you, my life flashed before my eyes. Is y'all was praying for me. Y'all was in that prayer circle and was like, "Yo, protect her," because homegirl, I saw the headlights of a semi truck, and I was just like, this is it. Not me dying, and I ain't supposed to be nowhere near her. Like I was literally supposed to be at Becky's house. Like we're supposed to be just at the house chilling, but no, we're in Pacific Coast Highway with a random old man, right? So all that happens. He's like, "All right, get out," and he starts driving. He's like, "Oh, I just need to stop somewhere," right? So he's driving, driving even more. Okay, and then eventually we pull up to our trailer. Hear me out. Not a trailer park, just a trailer, right? It was like in a lot. It was like a lot, but like just a trailer. And I was like, okay. So this is where I'll kill this man, right? So he gets out, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna run in and grab something," right? In my mind, look, that's where my mind was like machete, knife, okay, we gotta maneuver this. So I'm looking at Roly Poly, and she's, in the passenger seat, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're getting us into, but if I have to kill someone, I will." And I was so serious because in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, this was already stupid. I should have just walked." Okay, the fact I let you get let me, the fact that I allowed you to put me in another situation. Child. So she's like, "Everything's gonna be fine." And I'm looking at her like, when I kill him, I'm gonna kill you too. I'm killing everyone tonight, right? So she's looking at me, she's like, "Everything's gonna be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, he's cool people, like, whatever." And I'm looking at her and I'm like, "All right, bet." And I'm like, "I just want to go home. So tell your friend I want to go home, right?" And she's like, "No, not a problem. Like, we're gonna go home right after this." Like, she's way too calm for me. And in my mind, I'm like, "I wanna fight you." I remember looking at the back of her head and just being like, "Yo, I just wanna the back of your head right now, like, it's stupid," right? I'm like, "I need to get home." My mom's probably already back in prayer. I wanna go home, right? So oh my god. I needed parental guidance well into my 20s, but whatever. Whatever. So we're sitting there. He comes out like after maybe like 30 minutes. Okay, he comes out. He's like, "Do you guys need anything or whatever?" And mind you, let me tell you guys a secret about me. I always have to pee. I always have to pee. And mind you, we had got something to eat earlier, so I had to pee. And I feel like my whole life I've had the bladder of a 9-year-old woman. So I'm sitting there and I have to pee. And when I hold my pee for a long time, I know this is TMI. When I hold my pee for a long time, like my stomach starts to hurt. I don't know what that is. Like if there's any doctors watching this, diagnose me because when I hold my pee for like a long time, my stomach starts to hurt, like even well after I pee. So I'm sitting there in excruciating pain because I have to pee. But I'm like, I'm not gonna go up in there. Like I'm just not, right? So he keeps asking, he's like, "Do you guys need anything? Do you guys want to come inside or whatever?" And she's like, "No, she has to get home." And he's like, he looks at me, like he gives us this weird look. He's like, "You Do you really have to go home?" And I told him, first thing that came out my mouth, I was like, "Yeah, I have to be at Bible study tomorrow." And, like, everything just got so quiet and, like, awkward because he was probably like, "You're wearing a bathing suit and some shorts." Like, "Yeah?" And then he looks at me again, and he's just like, "You have to be at Bible study tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "My mom's probably already home from church right now, so I can go." And then I had roly poly Becky over here co-signing because she was just like, "Yeah, she goes to church all the time." Like, the way she said it was so condescending, but whatever. She was like, "Yeah, she goes to church, like, all the time," right? And he was like, "Oh." That's what he literally did. He was like, "Alright." And for some reason, I could see his mind thinking, and I was so weirded out at the fact that, "Why are you thinking, sir?" And then he gets in, and then he looks at me in the rearview mirror, and then he starts driving. And he's driving so fast, okay? And guys, I just want to tell you guys what I think happened right there. I feel like, okay, I could be wrong, but sometimes when I think about this situation, I'm always like, I wonder what would have happened if I never said that I had to go to Bible study the next day. I feel like maybe he felt like, okay, these are like girl, because the way we used to dress, we're in a random person's car or whatever. So, and mind you, fast forward, Becky didn't know him the way that she told me that she knew him. But anyway, so I feel like in his mind, he was probably like, okay, these are like, random girls and they probably don't have nobody or they probably don't have nothing and no one's going to be worried about, you know what I mean? Like these are like stray girls. Like no one cares about them type of thing. And I feel like soon as I was like, yeah, I have Bible study, you know what I mean? I feel like in his mind, he was probably like, oh no, like people are going to be worried about her. Like people are going to be looking for her, like no, okay. Like she has people that care about her. I feel like that's his mind process. The way he was looking at me was like, "You really have Bible study? Like you really going to church?" Like, okay. So I feel like in his mind, he was probably like, "Yo, there's people that's actually gonna be looking for her. Like if she came up missing or something." Like I know how crazy that sounds, but that's just how I processed it. And sometimes when I look back on it now as an adult, I'm just like, yeah. I wonder, like, what would have happened to me if I never said that, like, because the way he was, like, really being persistent on us going inside, I was just like, "No, I have Bible study." People out there love me. People out there love me. You can't take me. So he's driving like a bat out of hell, right? Just speeding and speeding and speeding. And we finally get to Becky's house. Well, like around the corner from Becky's house, and Becky didn't have him drop her off at his house because her daddy was crazy. So he drops us off, and he's all like, "Yo, I want to see you again." And he's looking at me, right? He's like, "I want to see you again." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was all like, "Oh, Becky, here's your due," and then he hands me money. So he handed Becky $20. He handed me $50, and I didn't tell her that he gave me $50. Not that it even mattered, my guy, but I didn't want her to feel no type of way, so I told her like he gave me 22, and she was like, "Oh my god, he be broke today, right?" Yeah, right. He never had no money in the first place. So he was like, "Call me when you get a chance. Like I want to hang out with you." And I was just like, "Sure, whatever." And he's like, "Don't forget. Like I told you, I have eyes all over LA." And I was like, okay. So then we're walking, and as we're walking home, well, I ended up spending the night at her house. So as we're going back to her house, is where all the tea's getting spilled, and where she's like, "Yeah, I've hung out with him one time prior. We talked a few times, like at like a food place, and like they hung out one time, like solo bolo." So she was like, "Yeah, like he wants me to be like his sugar babe, and all he wants to do is like take care of me." And like he was really excited when I told him that I had a friend and all this. And I'm looking like, so you're just volunteering me? You're just volunteering me into a lifestyle that I did not agree to. Like how goofy. I was so irritated. Like I remember like being in her house and just being like, "Yo, tell someone to take me home." Like tell someone to take me home. So her grandma never liked to take me home. Like she's have an attitude like I live right there. Just take me home, sis. But They ended up taking me home, and I was so mad at her. I didn't talk to her for like a few days. And even now, I look back on that situation. I'm like, how goofy. Like, child, if it wasn't for the women of the church praying for my well being, where would I be? That's literally how I got to end all my story times nowadays. Because if it wasn't for them and my mother out there praying for me, where would I be? Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the prayers because where would I be? My goodness. Hope you guys enjoyed this story time live. This was nice, quick, and easy. I'm just gonna upload it just like this. Hopefully, you guys like it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to any new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Sorry, I hear my neighbors outside. I don't think he's shopping. But I see you guys in the next one. Like I said, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Watch this video to the end. Don't play with me. But even though this is the end, I should have said that at the beginning, but that's okay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, beauties.